Oh, right, yeah, I didn't see you there. But yeah, yeah, the wait is finally over. Part 9 of the 7 series is now here. This part being about the one and only Jon Jones, and they do call him the legend. But yeah, I ain't gonna spoil too much for you, so let's get into his video. Wait, where are you going? Yeah, where are you going? We need to go over Jones's backstory. Right, yeah, that's more like it. So now, let's get straight into the video. So believe it or not, the story behind Jones is actually very interesting and pretty profound as well. You see, Jones had a wife. We don't know the appearance of Jones's wife, I'm just using this skin as an example. But yeah, Jones came from a very dangerous reality and had family there as well. This reality is dangerous because it is inhabited by creatures. And you see, Jones and his wife would have to work together to kill these creatures, in which they were very good at it, but it was also hard. Now, Jones also had kids as well, and they loved their parents. Now, you see, Jones had no job. His main job was literally just to keep his family safe and kill the creatures. And although he was very good at this, well, he needed a proper job. And that is when, basically, he got an offer to work for the Imagined Order. Now, for this job, he would have to experiment with being a looper and enter the loop himself, which we know that Jones has a bit of knowledge on. But Jones is also going to have to experiment with other people's lives as well. Now, Jones's wife was not keen on this at all, as one, she's obviously a very caring woman, and two, she knows that she's never going to see Jones again. Now, the two of them get very emotional over this, but he's actually going to work for the Imagined Order. But basically, there's a little bit of a twist. He will only work with the Imagined Order only if they keep his reality and his family safe from all of the creatures. Because Jones and his family are literally killing creatures only just to survive. And Jones can only wish for peace for his family. He then spends his final moments with his family, and then unfortunately he has to say goodbye. Now, when Jones first enters the Imagined Order, he is greeted by Sloane, in which back then they were actually good allies together. And Jones would also get his very own sleeping quarters as well. And because Jones generally has to get on with his job, basically he does have to enter the loop every now and then, in which where he can build, destroy things, emote and other stuff as well. And Jones would then work for the Imagined Order for hundreds of years' time. Now, Jones does get immortality, and this may seem like a good thing, it's not, because he's gonna have to watch his whole family die in front of his eyes. But of course, he's not actually gonna be there to experience the actual thing. Now, Jones's wife, his children, his grandchildren, his great-grandchildren, well, they all died in front of him. But like I said, he was not there. So as I'm going to be explaining Jones for the rest of the video, well, I might as well go over all of his snapshots. And trust me, he has got a lot. So first we gotta mention the old classic Fortnite Jonesy default. And this one default variant would end up having many other skins in the game. For example, there is Devastator, High-Rise Assault Trooper, Ranger, Stash Sergeant, Circuit Breaker, Codename Elf, First Strike Specialist, Recon Scout, Love Ranger, Rex, Skull Trooper, Mission Specialist, Diecast, Sub Commander, Scoundrel, Sleuth, Star Spangled Trooper, Nor, Magnus, Sledgehammer, Chomp Senior, Suntan Specialist, Mullet Marauder, Grill Sergeant, Far Out Man, Wreck Raider, Backbone, War Paint, Stage Slayer, Triad Trooper, Night Knight, Ludwig, Dyer, Brainiac, Dante, Castor, Riot, Frozen Love Ranger, Cloudbreaker, Cabby, Red-Nosed Ranger, Fallen Love Ranger, Hayseed, Munitions Major, Axiom, Seawolf, Slugger, Bunker Jonesy, Plastic Patroller, King Flamingo, Pillar, Frontier, Dark Jonesy, Wrangler, Snake Pit, Dark Rex, Arctic Intel, Farmer Steel, Slurp Jonesy, Synth, Wolf, Scuba Jonesy, Relaxed Fit Jonesy, Castaway Jonesy, Jonesy the First, Fair Play, Cozy Jonesy, Agent Jones, Guernsey, Bogey Basher, Agente Colorado, Cozy Knit Jonesy, Karateka Jones, Jonesy the Secondist, Jones Unchained, Fearless Flusher, and Championship Jonesy. So yeah, that's a lot of snapshots. And some of the snapshots that I mentioned are very important to the Fortnite lore. Basically, to get the secret skin in Season 9, you had to collect Fort Bites. And in the process of collecting these, you'll get a loading screen, which reveals a bit too much about the Fortnite lore. But first, we gotta talk about the new Jonesy skin. So Fortnite had made a new Jonesy skin, which is Bunker Jonesy. And basically, he's literally just like Jonesy, but older. You see, when the volcano erupted, basically, Jones and Peely went to find a bunker. And eventually, they found one, where there was literally many games, many attractions, many music, a lot of stuff. And so Jones and Peely would stay in this bunker for a while, as they are literally having plenty of fun. But unfortunately, they are running out of food. And if they're gonna be staying in that bunker for any longer, then we all know what's gonna happen. Later on, the bunker was discovered. And it was also discovered that Jones was literally drinking Peely. And so Jones then stepped out of the bunker. And it has been many years, and literally everything has changed. Like, Tilted Towers is now Neo-tilted. Right, now back to the Fort Bites and the loading screen. And in this loading screen, you can literally see the cube, the monster's eye, the monster fighting the mech, the vault, and so there was so much lore in this one loading screen. And Jones is illustrating all of this because he's seen it. As remember guys, Season 9 is based in the future. Now Season X guys, and Jones is kind of related to it. Well, he's in the story trailer. He is floating through reality, flying past literally all nostalgic stuff, for example, the rocket and other weapons. But yeah, he then experiences all of this reality stuff and then straight on the island, and it is now modern day. And then that is literally the last time we see Jones for Chapter 1. On the 15th of October 2019, Chapter 2 actually launched, and Jonesy has now got a new default fit. Now Chapter 2 default Jonesy made it look like the vibe of Ego. Ego were a survival group sent by the Imagined Order to look around the island of Apollo and just see if everything's alright. And on the island of Apollo, Ego built many green looking outposts. Now to be honest, for the rest of Season 1, nothing happened to do with Jones. It was a very dead season in my opinion, but it was still quite fun to play. But now let's get into Chapter 2 Season 2. So on March the 20th, Season 2 releases, and to be honest, at the start there is not really anything to do with Jones. The season mainly focuses on Midas and how he was cursed with the Golden Touch. Now like a week before the device event, an encrypted skin called Agent Jonesy was leaked in the files. Now at first we generally thought this was just going to be a normal skin, but it will actually be used for the live event, also known as the device event. The unreleased Agent Jonesy skin would actually play a massive part in this event. Every now and then we'll be sent to this white office looking room, and this is when we get our first little look at the Imagined Order and the bridge. Even though this office isn't the bridge, the room opposite is actually the bridge, and we know that to cutscenes. But we were sent to this office 3 times. For the second time we were in this office, we actually heard a voice, and this man is talking to his boss about the storm and how it's not just a storm. We can see that everyone is rushing around in panic due to the device that Midas created. Now the third cutscene was the big reveal to who this man was, and it was actually Jonesy, and it was the encrypted agent variant of him. Now after the device event, there was only a couple of days where we can experience the water storm, and although it was a little bit laggy, it was still pretty cool. But now I'm going to talk about Chapter 2 Season 3. Season 3 came around and the water storm has now collapsed, just like it does in a normal tsunami. Now Jones has got another snapshot, and it is himself as Scuba Jones. Before Season 3, Jones did not have a proper water suited outfit, so he got this one and it's a new snapshot. Scuba Jonesy has 3 edit styles, one with a mask and the others are just colours. He has 2 blades as his pickaxe, and his Water Wings glider, which has 3 edit styles. Now this Scuba Jonesy snapshot wouldn't be the last of Jones this season, as we saw 2 other snapshot styles of him as well. The first one is Relaxed Fit Jonesy, which is a quote-unquote replica from 4, well, the fat version from Avengers Endgame. The next snapshot is one we saw in a fan-made trailer for the Fortnite World Cup, and it is Castaway Jones. Now that was really all for Season 3, so let's move on to Season 4. Now we are in Season 4, and there isn't really much stuff about Jones. We did see him in the cinematic trailer though, but just like Season 2, this season kind of just mainly focused on Midas, as he was seen in Midas's Revenge and seen in the last Laugh bundle as well. Now we were already a year into Chapter 2, and basically Epic have already brought back the Chapter 1 defaults in the item shop. The Jonesy one is called Jonesy the First, and it wasn't actually given another edit style, but this skin just screamed nostalgia. Galactus is now almost close to the island, and this would lead up to the Devour of Worlds event. Now Galactus ripped the 0 point out of the authority, which made the imagined order and 0 Point readings berserk. Now, the only time we saw Jones in the Devour World events was at the very end, as there was a cutscene of him waking up in his office. Now, Chapter 2 Season 5 was an incredibly important season for Jones, because the loop and the 0 Point is now unstable, so his mission is to not let anyone escape the loop. Now, Jones will not be able to do this on his own, he's gonna need some help. So Jones is gonna have to rift in a load of bounty hunters from the whole of the Omniverse. And then done, now he just needs to enter the island. But then after that, we also get a little sneak peek at the flip side. As you can see, the island is just turning around. And this is by 180 degrees. But what bounty hunters were chosen? Well, first we have the Mandalorian, who had his mythic sniper gun thing and he did not miss a shot. So Jones did not fail with this bounty hunter. The next one was Reese, and all we really know about her is that she's a bounty hunter from another universe. Next, there is Mancake, who owns the Butter Barn and is an ex-member of the Peace Syndicate. And then there is a Maeve, who grew up in the wilderness and has animal-like abilities. Well, technically she's a shapeshifter. And then we have Condor, who is a Japanese-like vengeful spirit. And then there is Lexa, who may look like a cute anime chick, but seriously, she's a vicious woman. And then there's Menace, who is some gladiator bounty guy who has quote-unquote never been defeated. But yeah, let's just deal with it. Now, Season 5 is a season known for the most collabs. Why is this? Because Jones keeps on hiring people to be their bounty hunter. And so this guy's literally hiring everyone. It's gone from Terminator to Halo to God of War, literally, you know what I mean. But you see, for every hunter, Jones will talk about them in a reality log, in which Jones would send these logs to the Imagined Order headquarters. But the thing is that the Imagined Order are not listening to him. Jones notices this, and the Imagined Order are actually doing nothing to help. And then so Jones would record 2 reality logs, which are probably the most profound voice lines in Fortnite history.
Reality log. Doesn't even matter. What's the point of recording these logs if you're not going to listen? We've lost control of the 0 Point. Do you get what that means? You must not, because you're doing nothing. I've dedicated my life to the Order. I've given everything. And for what? To just sit back and watch reality end? That's not who we are. At least it's not who I am. Not anymore. This is Agent Jones requesting access to restricted file 8752. This is Agent Jones requesting access to restricted file 8752. Oh, really? No time to stabilize reality, but plenty of time to revoke my credentials. This is Agent Jones requesting access to all materials related to the 7. Oh, great! Okay, if you're not going to give me what I need, I'm just gonna have to take it.
Reality is at the verge of collapse, and this is where Zero Crisis comes into play. As we know, Jones has intentions to do with the 7, and after hundreds of years, he is finally switching side. He does not support the Imagined Order anymore. And even though they were keeping his reality safe, he never actually got to see them. Now, I didn't mention that Jones has a rift gun, and this is how he brings people to the island. Well, more specifically, the loop. Jones has used the gun many times and it is running out of uses, so Jones needs to be wise, and I mean very wise. Now every bounty hunter that he has collected is now fighting. There is no peace on the island and everything is turning into chaos, but Jones must run past everything and he needs to make his final move, and that is to bring back the 7. Deep in reality, the Foundation has been sitting in a meteor, probably unconscious, and the meteor has just been floating in deep space since the End Alive event. And what about the 0 Point? The 0 Point is literally tearing to parts. Things are not getting good here. But Jones is just gonna have to use the rift gun to bring back the 7. And that is what he did. But the whole of the 7 didn't come along. It was just one member. His name was the Foundation, who actually turned out to be the leader. Now at first, the Foundation was a threat. But as Jonesy needs help, he must use a negotiation. He said one word that eventually silenced the Foundation. Well, actually it was a name, and that name being Geno. And like I said, Geno is the leader of the Imagined Order. But the Foundation also wants its other members, who are the sisters, who are also Geno's daughter. But yeah, the two of them made a deal and the Foundation agreed to help. Now Jones and the Foundation are gonna help the 0 Point, but Jones actually recognizes us from the device event. As like I said, we were in his office. Foundation enters the insides of the 0 Point, fracturing the shell around it. But when the 0 Point starts to bloom, then basically there's no going home. And that's what happens. The 0 point basically bloomed. This spawned in many rift entrances, and it was our goal to close them all. And we have to close these with the rift gun. But I forgot to mention that every now and then a reality wave would happen, in which this would change something and slowly also make the island look more primal. Our actual appearance was changed to Raz, whilst Jones was changed into a butterfly. But time is running out and we have to get the rift gun to close all of the gates, whilst Jones is just guiding us as the appearance of a butterfly. Well, a rift butterfly to be specific. But again, time is running out, so we have to close our first gate. But the next one is pretty far, and as Jones has the abilities of a rift butterfly, he actually has the powers to rift us to the other location. But right now we need a reality wave because hunters are still fighting, and the wave would remove all of the hunters and make the island more primal. But now we are the character of Clark, which Jones actually gives a compliment about. But again, we haven't got that much time, so we need to close all of these gates fast. So we closed the gate again, but then we were introduced to the wolves, and this all happened in a reality wave. But the island's getting more primal, turning us into the character of Lara Croft. But then again, we successfully managed to close another gate. But then another reality wave, but this time we are in a slightly more uncomfortable position. Hunters have found their way to the chopper and is now shooting us from above. But then a reality wave happened and now we are back into our final form. And then finally, the last gate. And so we are now done. And the foundation is struggling even more in the 0 point, making it bloom really beautiful and really hard. And so with the island almost fully primal, we need to use this last chance to save the foundation. Because the foundation's idea is to seal himself in the 0 point, making a spire. But this is honestly a massive sacrifice for the foundation, so we need to go and find him quick and also get him free from the 0 point's cause. The 0 point energy right now is so strong that it is even making us fly around the whole spire. We then make it to the top and Jones is now his normal self. And the foundation's plan is to overload the device, which means the two of them will be looped. Jones is no unfamiliar face to the loop, but they were only for his snapshots. Jones has never actually been himself. But Jones gave the foundation his word and they will find each other soon in the future. But the foundation is sealing himself in now, and that is the end of the Zero Crisis. Now in season 6 we did finally get an Agent Jones skin, and the skin has styles, those styles being used in other realities where Jones got his hunters from. Now to be honest, for the next 3 seasons, season 6, season 7 and season 8, well, Jones wasn't really seen that much. In season 6 he recorded one more reality log, which was really short. All he said was a listen to the Crystal song, in which he's obviously relating to the Spire. And in season 7, Jones got another snapshot skin, which was himself as a cow, and this was obviously used to relate to the aliens. You see, the interesting thing with this skin is that look at the milk carton he's holding. Well, you can see Jones's face and above it says missing, and the imagined order put this on the carton, so they want Jones back. And their plans is to erase Jones's memory, and this is when the chapter 2 finale comes into play. Now for like the first 5 minutes of the event, we did have to fight the army of the last reality. Well, more specifically, we had to fight the Sideways. In this event, we did see a massive rift crack in the sky, and this is where it revealed the Cube's cradle. Now we had to fight caretakers, cubes, abductors, and UFOs, with just normal BR weapons, for example the Scar. But then one of the abductors literally destroyed the blue cube, which led us down to the imposter's bunker, also known as the IO's hideout. Well, not really their hideout, more their underground base. But then a cutscene played and we saw Sloane. And we also saw Jones as well, tied up to some chair. And so the IO did get to him first, but now they're gonna erase all of his memory. Now Ghana then starts up the machine, but then they get disrupted. Disrupted by the one and only Foundation, here to save Jones from his captivity. He ends up succeeding, and he also does a little face reveal as well. But yeah, Jones is fine and his memory is also fine as well. Now all the Foundation needs to do is just get past all of the guards and flip the island. But he's gonna need help from his other 7 members, and which that comes into play with the Visitor and the Scientist. The Visitor needs to hold back the Sideways, whilst the Scientist needs to help the Loopers, which he does that by getting them down into the base. But yeah, the Visitor then goes back to the flip side. We then make it to the IO base, where literally everything is happening right now. But yeah, the island has started the procedure to flip, and it is turning around very slowly. And so we gotta follow the Scientist to take take us back to Jones and the Foundation, who currently right now are fighting the forces of the Imagined Order. But yeah, eventually we do finally catch up with them. But Jones being Jones, he accidentally dropped the rift gun that the Foundation gave him in the 0 point. But then the Foundation says something in which to this day we still don't know what it means.
Why does she make me keep saving you?
The Foundation says, why does she make me keep saving you? We honestly have no idea who the Foundation is talking about. But for now, really our only speculation is the woman in Brutal Bastion, which would be revealed a year later. But yeah, the caretakers have found us and they destroyed the glass for the bridge, this leading us to be wiped from the 2 islands. We then get up from the depths of the water and we see our 2 islands flip. Well, more specifically, we just see the Chapter 3 map flip onto the other side of the Chapter 2 map. But yeah, the Chapter 2 map is now below the surface and the Cube Queen is gone for now. But yeah, this is the end of the event and this causing a massive tidal wave, which eventually wipes us out. Chapter 3 is now here and the island you once knew has flipped. This revealing the long-awaited headquarters of the 7, which is the Sanctuary. For now, in this chapter, this location is really only used for the Foundation, the Scientist, and the Visitor. I'm not sure about the origin yet, as he did appear in the season after Chapter 3 Season 1. But yeah, I don't know if the origin is there or not, but the Foundation, Scientist, and the Visitor, well, they're all NPCs in that area. Another very important POI for Chapter 3 is the Jonesies, and this location is home to the Snapshots of Jonesy, as there were many NPC locations for other Jonesy skins, for example Mullet, Marauder, and Ludwig. Now, the actual NPC location for Jones was in a 7 Sanctuary looking base, and yes, Joan literally confirms that that's him, and that also Jones isn't hiding or anything like that. He's still on the island. Now, for like the rest of Season 1, basically nothing really happened to do with Jones, as the main story protagonist for this season was the Scientist. But we would see the character of Jones a lot next season, as it is time for Resistance. Jones would play a very important part in Chapter 3 Season 2, as the full IO forces have now made their way to the island, and it is now a war between the 7 and the Imagined Order. And Jones would be very important all thanks to the Resistance quests. But yeah, Sloan has removed building and it is now a full-time war. But before we get into the quests, well, basically Jones appears as an NPC in another sanctuary-looking hideout base. Or I may just call it an outpost. But yes, let's get into the Resistance quests. Now, of course, to get in touch with Jones, we have to establish a device link, which gives him the ability to talk to us via phone. He reveals that Sloan is planning something and she's obviously going to use it towards us. But yeah, guys, as this is the 7 series, I am going to go over all of Jones's quests. He then needs us to deploy sensors, in which we can either do this in Tilted, Rocky, or Logjam Lumberyard. But yeah, nothing really that crucial from Jones. It is kind of just the looper and him having a full conversation. But I never mentioned that those sensors are actually cameras and they are going to be used to spy on the Imagined Order. So yeah, Jones has some pretty good plans here. And like I said, to get in contact with Jones, we have to establish a device link, and we have to do this quite a few times. But now we need to insert a data scraper onto one of the Imagined Order blimps. But yeah, in the end we do this successfully. And Jones is also saying that basically he's gonna get someone to pick it up, but we just don't know that that person is actually us. We gotta go pick it back up. Now into week 2 of the quests, and we gotta establish another device link. But the Scientist has instructed Jones to instruct us about the tanks, as we gotta go drive one to a 7 outpost. But yeah, Jones also revealed that the Foundation does say something quite dark about us and ours die trying. But remember, we are loopers, so we'll be fine. But we are able to bring the tank to the 7 outpost, so Jones is happy. And as Jones did make some promises to the 7 about the tanks, well, we have now become his favorite looper. And so not gonna lie, that's actually quite a valuable award, because in my opinion, I think Jones is probably one of the best Fortnite characters of all time. And if you've never played Fortnite in your life, then you've probably seen his face somewhere. But for our next task, we actually gotta help out Peely, not Jones. And it turns out that he drank a smoothie, which gave him some visions. And he accidentally drank it as well, so yeah, definitely a kid's game. But yeah, Peely is drunk and we now gotta teach him how to drive. Of course, first we have to refuel a vehicle, and then we just gotta drive within the roads and don't crash or just go off-road. But yeah, Jones is happy, Peely is happy, and now that is the end for week 2. Now there was no week 3, so we just gotta go on to week 4. And Jones has now instructed us to place anti-tank rounds. But yeah, we gotta place 3 of these around the sanctuary, and to be honest, it's pretty easy. But But yeah, Jones was just flexing of that when he was working for the Imagined Order, he did know some stuff about the Seven. And with the stuff he knew, the IO was not keen on. But yeah, right now going around the sanctuary, there is a lack of trust going around all of the members and the sentries. This lack of trust resolving around the paradigm because no one knows whether we should trust her or not. But then yeah, then we did it, and Jones didn't want us to tell anyone what he told us. And he was telling us about the situation going around the sanctuary with the lack of trust. But yeah, if other people find out, then he could probably get hated for it. But yeah, week 4 done, let's get into part 5. So yeah, like always, we gotta establish a device uplink to Jones. And this time, to prove his point about weapon rarities, we have to mark 4 different weapons. Of course, these weapons all being with different rarities. And so yeah, Jones admits that people are getting confused because every time he says grab weapons, people think that he's saying prepare dinner. In which I'm not gonna lie, that is quite sad for Jones. But yeah, Jones thinks that his point is proven, and so he is quite happy, but remember, we just have to mark 1 more weapon. But yeah, Jones's point has now been fully proven, and to be honest, he did kind of help us with the covert ops and stuff like that. Week 6 is now here, and things really start getting into action. Because the Seven and the Loopers find out that basically the Imagined Order have now started production on one of their doomsday devices. But for now, the Seven really do not have that much intel on it. But yeah, Jones tasks us to set up cameras around the island. Well, more specifically, around the location of a Loot Lake. Because this is where the doomsday machine will be built. But yeah, things are getting real serious now because no one on the island is thinking positively about this doomsday device. And not even Jones, because he has a very bad feeling about it. But yeah, week 7 is now here, and Jones says quite an inspirational quote, saying war may be fought on the battlefield, but it is won in our hearts and minds. And so Jones is really trying his best to motivate us, and we should respect that. But yeah, the Seven are going to spend some time playing around with the IO's propaganda machine, whilst we hack IO loudspeakers with playing a mixtape. But yeah, Jones is now literally pretending to be Dr. Slone, and he is telling the IO forces to just run. And I'm not gonna lie, this is actually a pretty neat move from Jones. So he does know what he's doing here. But unfortunately, the Imagined Order didn't fall for it. And he's literally now saying of that he's inserted all of the Imagined Order employees' salaries on a shared IO drive. So not gonna lie, again, Jones is being pretty smart. Now Jones is actually having a lot of fun with the loudspeakers. And Jones literally refers himself as Sloane's sworn enemy. But yeah, Jones is literally just trying to tell Slone to just give up. But he's telling her this in a motivational, calming way. But yeah, guys, now it's week 7. And Jones is stating about of how he cannot find his old Imagined Order credentials. And so Jones is now actually tasking us to destroy Imagined Order files. But yeah, we do this and then we do collect all of the files. These files obviously heavily relating to John Jones. But yeah, we also find out that the files are heavily related to Covert Canyon as well. So of course we gotta head over there. And so yeah, now we are ready to hack into precious IO intel. And so yeah, we then hack the server, and that is the end of week 7. It is now time for week 8. Now, whilst we were gone, basically the Seven had a little bit of a party. And the reason behind this party is because basically a lot of positive things are happening between them and the Imagined Order. Well, those positive things being the Seven managing to sabotage the Imagined Order. But yeah, we were tasked to clean up. And so we literally have to destroy trash around the sanctuary. Bit harsh for us, but we're getting XP out of this, so we don't really care. And Jones also admits that he got a little festive last night, but yeah, we don't need to talk about that. And Jones also revealed that basically the Imagined is very interested in what all of this IO secret stuff is. And so it's pretty obvious that the Imagined wants to look into all of this IO stuff on her own. And also at the party, the Imagined ranted to Jones of how she is sick of not knowing who she is, as she keeps trying to find out, but she always never remembers. But yeah, it is now over for week 8, and with week 9, well, things get critical, and I mean really critical. Well, basically the Imagined Order saw the process of building the Doomsday device. And yes, it's in Loot Lake, and it's called the Collider. Now, I would continue about the quests, but I need to talk about something else. I need to talk about Zero War, which is very, and I mean very important, so let's get straight into it. You see, the war between the Seven and the Imagined Order is literally called the Zero War, which is literally the name of the Marvel comics. And oh boy, this comic has a lot to do with Jones. So yeah, let's get into Jones in Zero War. So Logan is drinking in a bar and Spider-Man comes across him. And Logan reveals that he's kind of done with all the reality shit and stuff like that. But then someone else says hi in a party, and that's Jones. drinks. And so Jones asks for a drink, and then the Imagined comes along. And she's already flirting with Wolverine. And then the Imagined introduces him to Jones. And so yeah, it is literally just Jones, the Imagined, Wolverine, and Spider-Man in the bar. But Spider-Man needs to tell Wolverine some very important stuff. This stuff being about the Zero War. He explains that the Seven have been at war with the Imagined Order, and that we are all on the side of the Seven. But yeah, here is just one image of Jones trying to be cool in front of the Foundation, and trying to give him a fist pump. Now after the battle, a handful of Seven members meet at Tilted Towers to talk about some battle plans, because the process of the Collider is now in action, and the Seven need to think of something. But then the visitor mentions a name, that name being the Paradigm. They go back to the Paradigm helping the Imagined Order defeat the monster, and she is doing this by piloting a mech. Now, the Paradigm did actually end up saving everyone and defeating the monster, but one, she used 0-point energy, which doing this can really unstabilize reality, and two, she literally is betraying the Seven by working for the Imagined Order. Even though it was only one time, the Seven still didn't take it. And then after the Paradigm defeated the monster, she flew off and crash landed on the Ice Moon. Now, the mech has been located on the Ice Moon, and basically the Seven's plan is to try get her, because their plan is to use the mech to defeat the Collider, and hopefully end the Zero War once and for all. But basically, the origin tells us that when Galactus got hold of the 0-point, a 0-point shard ended up in the Marvel reality, and this is not good. So there's gonna have to be two teams here. The first team go to the Ice Moon and save the Paradigm and the mech. The second team to travel to Wakanda to get to this 0-point shard. But yeah, Jones is gonna go with Spider-Man and the Imagined. Oh, and they also bring Wolverine with them as well. Now, before they get on with their separate sides, basically they need to enter the bridge, which of course they have to do this by entering the imposter's bunker, and they have to enter by a sewage pipe. Now, eventually they get there, but everything is upside down due to the island flipping. But Jones still knows what he's doing and where he's going, and Jonesy still has access to the escape door, which would only ever be used if there was a crisis happening. So they manage to get in, and Jones finds his old office, and it is literally how he left it. But then Jones finds one of his old pictures, and he is just looking back at it as nostalgia. But the picture is actually an image of Jones's family, who are obviously all dead now from over age. But yeah, Jones then catches up with the others and keeps the picture. Now, the four of them manage to find their way to the bridge, and Spider-Man was about to touch the 0-point until the Foundation told him not to. Now, Jones starts working with the controls of the bridge until the Foundation is literally jumped by Gunner and Slone, because literally security protocols are still active in that place. Now, Gunner is instructed to toss them all into the 0-point, and Jones gets confused between Gunner and Geno. But yeah, Jones has got to work with the bridge controls to align the 0-point with the Marvel reality. He eventually succeeds, and him, the Imagined, and Spider-Man all jump into the 0-point, whilst the Foundation is left behind fighting Gunner, but then he flies off eventually. Jones and Spider-Man ends up in the reality, and they're wondering, well, where did the Imagined go? Well, she's actually fighting Captain Marvel right now till Spider-Man breaks them up. Spider-Man then explains of how we are all on the same side here, and then takes the conversation to the meeting room of the Avengers. Spider-Man explains the whole Zero War situation and that the other members of the Seven need help. And Iron Man wanted to deal with it, saying that him, Thor, and Storm are gonna catch up with the scientists and the Foundation to recover the mech, whilst other Avengers help the Seven in the meantime. Now, Jones, Spider-Man, and the Imagined are fine with this, and then they get Wolverine to catch up with the business. But yeah, before the two sides really split up, well, basically, the Avengers are just getting a little bit of a taste of the Imagined Order. And yeah, it looks pretty easy, right? Full forced hero against IO guards, like, that's kind of easy, am I right? Well, no, because Geno negotiated with Doom, and the Imagined Order now have the forces of Victor Von Doom. And he has now been invited to the Imagined Order Inner Circle. But yeah, now the two sides have split up, and basically, the Imagined, Spider-Man, and Wolverine and Jones are fighting Wakandan forces, because they are now in the Wakandan border. But the Wakandan forces are then detailed about the Zero Shard that landed in Wakanda. But then Jones, Spider-Man, the Imagined, and Wolverine are then introduced to Shuri, who is not a threat, and she thinks that they know what they are talking about. Now, Shuri takes the four of them into this room looking a lot like the bridge, as there is a lot of kinetic crystals and energy in there. But when they are all walking in this room, basically Wolverine smells something. He recognizes the smell of the Zero Shard and goes to chase after it, until they are caught up with hybrids. Well, they're basically lizards. And they have actually been on the Fortnite island before, but now they are obviously in Wakanda. They then capture capture one of the lizards and try to interrogate it. Well, Jones tries to interrogate it. Now, Jones can speak 342,000 languages, but he cannot make out a word of what the lizard says. And so they kind of just give up for the evening and rest. Now, for the night, Wolverine plans on eating Rhino, which not really any of the others are really keen on. But yeah, the 5 of them make camp, and Jones and Shuri are really bonding. And so yeah, but the Imagine and Wolverine, well yeah, they're definitely bonding. But yeah, Jones then catches up with Spider-Man, and Spider-Man honestly thinks that Shuri likes him. And then Spider-Man mentions something. Well, he mentions the picture that Jones picked up in his office. And Jones would literally go on to explain his whole entire backstory to Spider-Man, and that's how we know Jones's backstory. But yeah, there is no need to explain his backstory again, as I explained it literally at the beginning of the video. But yeah, guys, they continue looking for the Zero Shard, but then they find a trace of it. Then they fight to get it, but then they realize that Doom has now got his hands on it, which is actually really bad, so Jones and the others have got to chase after him. Now, basically bad news, Doom used the 0 point shard to travel to Reality Zero. Well, basically, Jones still has a rift gun, and so he's going to use it to travel to the Ice Moon and catch up with the other members of the 7. But then Doom appears again, and he's still got the 0 point shard with him as well. And this time, well, they're all bloodthirsty. They are going to get that 0 shard. And after fighting for it, well, they got it. And also the Paradigm and the mech is back as well. They got the shard, and now everything is going to be successful. And now, time for what we've all been waiting for. One of the biggest finales of all Fortnite history. And I am talking about collision. When us as loopers are inside the head of the mech, we can hear Jones and the Foundation talking by the loudspeakers, and Jones wants his own 7-y name. At first, he came up with the Infiltrator, which to be honest, that's not a bad name. But then, he comes up with a name, which honestly sounds like that people will look up to him. He wants to be known as the Legend. And Jones is also surprised that Slone is taking this a bit too far with the Collider. And Jones has known Slone for a lot of his life, and she was actually nice. And so it may be obvious that Geno is really manipulating her at this point. But yeah, we gotta get ready for collision, and the mech needs to take off soon. We have the Paradigm piloting, and Jones being one of the commanders. We've got Foundation and the Marvel characters going for the 0 point, so yeah, this is gonna be nothing but wild. The mech then takes off, and we need to destroy asteroids because they're getting in our way. But then we make it to the island, where the whole island is filled with imagined order forces. There are mechs, blimps, and even brutes as well. But like I said, we gotta get past them. After minutes of hard work, we finally reach the Collider. But then it's self-destructed, in which this leading to the mech crashing and leading us to the bridge. In this scene, we are greeted by Jones, and he manages to get us all up. We then have scars, and then we need to eliminate the IO forces. But then the Foundation also comes in as well. Now we keep going up all of these stairs, just fighting IO forces along the way. And also whilst the 0 point is shifting realities. And also whilst Slone is just saying some insulting things to her employees, well, her IO guards. And also to Jones as well. Now they eventually catch up with Slone, and basically the Paradigm crushes her with her mech. And when we all thought she was dead, well no, she's coming back exactly a year later. But that's irrelevant for this video. Now, the moment the Foundation has finally been waiting for, Geno. To catch up with him, the Foundation and Jones need to enter the 0 point. And then the two of them finally lay eyes on each other. Geno has his daughter in his hands, as literally they are both evaporating right now due to them being in the 0 point. And shreds of their bodies are going to be scattered across the Omniverse. But yeah, Geno has lost for now. And the last thing he said was, "Who's that blonde guy?" Which we all know is Jones, and that's quite mean because no one really knows who Jones is. And also, Jones and Geno have never met before. But yeah, the 7 have won the Zero War. Now, to be honest, Season 3 was a very dry season for Jones, and to be honest, it wasn't really that crucial for anyone in that season, to be honest. And all literally everyone is doing now is just vibing, because they have all won the Zero War. But yeah, there was a new skin of Jones, and it was called Jones Unchained. But yeah, obviously, it is his prison version. And to be honest, there's nothing really much for Season 3, so let's get straight into Season 4. Multiple members of the 7 are now missing, and this brings us into Paradise. In the quests, it's only Jones, the Paradigm, and Amy. And Jones Jones would be the first to start us off, as we need to look around the island to see if the 7 left anything. He then needs us to reboot a computer, which we know that Amy is in this computer. If you don't know who Amy is the scientist's AI. Amy's vid was part 8, so if you want to go check that out, then all of the links will be in the description. But Amy is very sad as the scientist has gone, but this isn't about Amy, this is all about Jones. Jones needs Amy, well, Jones referred her as computer, to scan growth on the tree. And obviously, Amy would not want to be referred as computer, as she has got a name, and that is Amy. And Amy is really trying her best to roast Jones, but no one can do that, as Jones is literally the sexiest character of all time. He's really cool. Yeah, okay, right, I'm a bit too obsessed. But yeah, Jones doesn't really understand Amy and doesn't really know that she's an AI, not really just a stupid robot. Jones then needs us to discover leftover root of the reality tree. But yeah, Amy is still snapping at Jones for referring her as computer. And Jones promised Amy that they were going to find the scientist, and yeah, Amy was with them, that's easy. And so yeah, Amy and Jones are kind of getting along here, to be honest. Like, Amy's decoding a message for Jones, which is going to be very important. And that message is from the Paradigm, because the Paradigm, Jones and Amy, well, their goal is to save the island from the Herald's power. Now Jones needs us to create a sign for the Paradigm, which we can do. And then Jones sends a message to the Paradigm. But yeah, the Paradigm is out there and we can get in contact with her just fine. Now Jones is still very important to Paradise quests, but he's not in it that much. Well, he is, but just not that much compared to Amy, as to be honest, there isn't really anything important to do this season. Like, I mean, Jones is very important in this season, but he was way more important in Resistance, not gonna lie. But yeah, we are now scanning Chrome, and the results do not look the best, to be honest, as remember, Chrome is very deadly. And there are still lots of arguments going between the two, like Jones even said that he would rather have a toaster instead of Amy. But yeah, Jones is still very much up for saving the island and the scientist. And Jones does apologize for calling her a toaster. But I'm not gonna lie, Jones is real rapid this season. And now Jones wants us to kill the Herald, which is easy, as she was a boss at Herald Sanctum, so it wasn't hard. And then the Paradigm says that she has to shut down communications because of the 0 points purpose, something like that, I don't know. But yeah, now that is the end of part 1. Now for the second part, which is part 2. Jones is back and he's telling us to boost signals with our pickaxes. And he also tells us that the Paradigm is back as well. But in the meantime, Jones and Amy have been building new signal boosters, and so yeah, Jones and Amy may actually be getting along. Then the Paradigm comes back with some really nice news saying that all reality is gonna end. But yeah, part 2 is mainly about the Paradigm, to be honest. And no, Jones is literally asking us to search dumpsters around the island, which we do, and we've got research notes. And they also smell horrible as well. And Jones is really gonna try and get him back. But yeah, he's also calling the scientist a little bit mental as well. Well, he goes with eccentric. And then there is more Paradigm of where she literally just lies her ass off about whatever the loop breaker project is. But that has got nothing to do with the video. And then we gotta go talk to Jonesy. But the Jonesy in the Jonesies. And he tells us more about the loop breaker project. Like, no one knows what the loop breaker project is. We all thought it was to do with Midas, but we were never told. But yeah, now he's telling us to dance literally next to plushies. And like I said, Jones and Amy are really getting along now. But guys, remember, they need to get on with the loop breaker project, or whatever that is. Okay, jokes aside, they do need to get on fast. Now he's telling us to record data at Loot Lake. And Jones is now referring Amy as Ames. And then Jones has an excellent idea: to go speak to Bushranger. And forget the Paradigm, the new hero is now Bushranger, as he's pretty OP to these Paradise quests. But no, don't forget the Paradigm. She literally sacrificed herself for chapter 4 to come along. So yeah, all respect and everything. Now for the final quest, to plant a seed into the ground. But yeah, this is a very profound moment as Jones and Amy have a very lovely conversation. Very sad. But forget about that, because now we have to prepare ourselves for Fracture, which was shit, can I just say. There was no Jones, it was just Amy and the Paradigm talking for the whole 40-minute event. We only saw Jones, and literally we noticed him by only his shoes, because he was sitting down on a chair. But yeah, that is literally it. It's literally the end of the video now, I'm just saying, because we did not see Jones for any other time after this. But yeah, guys, that is literally the end of the video. Thank you all for watching. Now, as many people know, I have spent months on this video, and I was actually making like, I don't know, I think it was like an hour and a half a video on this, but all my data on it got scrapped, so yeah, that's quite sad. But yeah, it was very long, and I did get carried away in some parts, so yeah, this is like a 30-minute video version of it, but yeah, I hope you all enjoyed it. But how could I have made this video without my friends, Scalez and Ray. And yeah, they really helped me to make this video with like all the replay cinematics and stuff like that. So yeah, huge thanks to them. But yeah, their socials are down in the description, so yeah, you should go check them out. They are really cool. But also, I can't forget a huge thanks to all of you. You guys really helped me out with the 7 series. Like, I made it last year in December, and I didn't know it was gonna come this far. But yeah, I love you all. Thank you so much for the support I've been gaining this couple of few weeks, even though my content has been a bit dry. But yeah, thank you all so much. And keep the peace, all of you. I really mean it. Now goodbye. Oh wait, my bad guys, I forgot something. I forgot the FNCS Championship Jones, which had no lore whatsoever.